All right, welcome everyone to What Travel Advisors Need to Know About Keywords, our Suitcase Designs Third Thursday webinar. I'm Justin Hinkle, founder of Suitcase Designs. It's good to see you too, Becca, and it's nice to see you here, Erica. Here at Suitcase Designs, we exclusively specialize in websites for travel advisors. I'm a travel advisor myself with Moonshot Travel, and today's session is all about keywords. Not in a generic throw some in a blog and post kind of way, post and hope. We're going to focus on how to use them strategically so the people who find you are the ones most likely to book. By the end, you'll know exactly how to choose the right keywords, where to put them in your website, and how to track their impact. So this isn't just about chasing, lots of traffic, but it's about bringing in leads who are actually ready to, talk travel with you. So it's going to be a quick, probably 30-minute session, but we have time for Q&A at the end as well. So you can just type them in the chat and I'd be happy to answer. Okay, guys? So let's get it underway. The keywords, why they matter. They're your connection between your services and what your potential clients are actually actively typing into Google. Search intent drives results. Keywords aren't just about visibility. They're going to attract the right people. They're about showing up in the right place at the right time for the right person. You want to get in front of their eyes and you want to be visible to the people that actually matter to your business. You don't want to just be visible to everybody. When you hit that sweet spot, between being in the right place at the right time, you're going to get more eyeballs on your site, but you're going to build trust because the people who feel like, you're speaking directly to their needs, they're going to feel like you get them. Google keywords can build trust in that manner because you're talking in their language, the things they're searching for, and they're like, this person, they just understand my problems and they're going to help me solve it. So some big keyword myths. Some people are like, stuff them everywhere, make your keyword, just your whole copy, keyword after keyword. And it looks awkward. It's hard to read. It's going to hurt your rankings because Google is smarter than that now. Back in the past, it might have just been able to read, all these keywords, I should bring it up in the search. But Google has just gotten more and more intelligent over the years. And if you're stuffing your copy with keywords, people aren't going to be able to read it well, and they're going to leave your site. And one of the things that is a factor for SEO is how long people spend on your website. If they're on your website and they're not converting and they're just leaving, and especially if your copy is making them turned off, Google's going to be smart enough to know we shouldn't really return the site in many rankings, in many searches. More traffic means more bookings. No, that's not always true. High traffic numbers can be meaningless if the visitors to your site aren't your target clients. You end up with tire kickers, you end up with people who, your niche is empty nesters, and you end up with honeymooners who want you to plan their honeymoon, and it's different types of trips. They want a destination wedding, maybe. You need the right people on your site, so you need to be speaking the right language. Paid ads are making keywords irrelevant. No, that is wrong, because paid ads can give you a temporary boost, but they're not going to replace organic keyword work. I ran some paid Google ads recently and got a lot of extra traffic. Most of it came from overseas. They weren't my ideal client. They didn't work in the manner that we'd hoped it worked because we weren't targeting well enough. So we're investing more in our keywords. We're investing in our SEO strategy as a whole. So that's really something that's going to be beneficial to us. And if you're doing the same thing for yourself, it's going to be beneficial to you. SEO is not a one and done task. Search trends shift, your strategy should shift. Like I said, here at Suitcase Designs, we do set up websites with basic SEO to begin with, but we have other packages that actually help do SEO over time. We're searching those keywords, doing keyword research for your websites, optimizing the websites, optimizing the metadata and the alternate descriptions. And these are things that we're going to talk about here a little bit forwards for you to be able to do on your own website as well. Let's see. So we need to understand search intent, because every search has an intent behind it. Someone who's searching best time to visit Italy is gathering some information. They might not be ready to buy yet. They might be ready to buy later. So that's an informational intent. If you're looking book Amalfi Coast cruise, that's transactional. They're looking to buying mode right now. Navigational, your travel agency name. So someone already knows your name, but needs your site or your contact info. So they're just trying to navigate to some information that they already understand about you. They're going to be searching for your travel agency name. That is, on Suitcase Designs, one of the top keyword searches that finds us is someone searching for Suitcase Designs, and that's where they go to our website. So getting your travel agency name out there is important as well, because some people, especially referred to you, are just going to be searching for your travel agency name. So having good name recognition is really helpful. And then, so you want to match your content on your website to the intent, and that'll help with conversions. Because if your content doesn't align with these intents, these three different types, you're either going to lose the lead or you're just going to attract the wrong kind of traffic. So all that traffic I attracted from Russia, I don't think they want travel agent websites. I think they just saw the ad and are clicking on it, probably maybe even bots. I don't know. But it wasn't keyword focused in the right manner. So there are three types of keywords. Some of them are very broad and some of them are ready to book. Short tail keywords, broad, high competition, like keyword like cruise. It's got a lot of search volume. Lots of people are looking for it, but it's got a lot of competition. So think about it this way: how many other agencies are out there, and they're all just, if everybody's targeting the keyword cruise, that means you're deep in the search. You might be deep in the results because everybody's looking for cruise, or everybody's trying to show up for cruise. So mid-tail is a little bit more specific, better targeted. So think about something like Caribbean cruise packages, and that'll narrow the field, and it makes it easier for you to rank. So what you're doing is you're making your keyword more into a key phrase, and it's more specific. So Caribbean cruise package versus just cruise is going to make you higher in the search results because not everybody is looking for that or trying to rank for that key phrase. And then there are long tail keywords. We're talking very specific, but the high intent users who are searching for these things are much closer to booking with you. A keyword like 7-day luxury Caribbean cruise from Miami, they're going to have fewer searches, but much higher conversion rates because there's a strong purchase intent behind that. Those people who are searching that are a lot more likely to purchase from you. So if you're putting together, say, group trips, be specific with those keywords on your website, because when people start searching, you're going to be more likely to appear in those searches for people who have high intent of buying that package. Now, that doesn't mean you get rid of the short tail or the mid tail, because a good strategy is going to blend all three of those types, like it says, visibility and conversion. So short tail is going to give you more awareness. Mid tail will give you some targeted reach. And then long tail, when you're very specific about someone who's likely to convert. So you get them all on your website in different manners, and we'll talk about that as well. So the sweet spot between data and common sense, finding the right keywords. You want to start with the exact words and phrases your clients use. Like you're on the phone with them or on the video calls with them often. Listen to how they describe trips, listen to how they describe their challenges for planning a vacation and the destinations they want to go to. Listen to how they use those words, because those are the things they're going to type into Google to search. And if you're being more clinical or technical about your travel descriptions for keywords you're trying to rank for, it's less likely to convert. You want to be able to speak their language. That's one of the things we're always preaching at Suitcase Designs is know your ideal client, understand their problems, you're speaking their language, and you're going to be able to connect with them a lot better. And they're going to be able to, in this case, find you and discover you a lot easier. So you can verify your hunches using keyword tools like a Google Keyword Planner or a Uber Suggest. And what they do is they're going to allow you to look up the data on how those keywords are ranking and people are searching for those phrases. You can spy on competitor keywords. That's a real thing, you want to keep an eye on your competitors. Look at what they're ranking for. If they're ranking for a keyword, it might be worth exploring for you as well. And again, those tools are going to help you out. And then look at those search trends regularly. You don't want to just set it and forget it, because they do evolve over time. They evolve with the seasons and also with world events. If there's unrest in Egypt, less people are going to be searching to travel to Egypt. If there's a volcano erupting somewhere, you're going to have a very specific type of people who want to travel to see that, and a very specific type of people who don't want to be anywhere near it. And so these world events are going to say, there's a volcano in Italy, and Pompeii happens now. It's just something people are going to change what they're searching for, and you want to make sure your keywords on your site are also relevant for what they're going to be searching for. So review those trends regularly. Use those tools. Google Keyword Planner is a really great one. And just, make it part of your process. So I mentioned Google Keyword Planner. I mentioned Uber Suggest. These other ones here, sometimes like SEMrush, I believe in Ahrefs, there are paid versions of those as well, but they will help you find keywords. They'll help you check search volume, see competition levels, and even it'll help you peek at what's working for others. So Google Search Console at the bottom there is in particular shows you what keywords you're already ranking for. So like I know that suitcase designs and suitcase design is my top keywords. People have a high um, intent looking for me in particular. Travel agent website design being the third best. And that's one that we're looking for. It's more mid. And we're working on ranking for a little higher. We've got a lot of competition there with actual, templates that are out there right now. But we're moving ourselves up to the first page of that. And it's because we're doing keyword research and we're regularly looking at our SEO results. You don't have to use every tool here. You don't have to master every one, but you should get comfortable with at least one. Um, you know, you could find hidden opportunities in the search console because like I've got some different types of keywords that I get visibility for. Like I said, travel agent website designs being number third, but I rank for personalized travel planning too. And that's not exactly what we want to be ranked for. So we want to kind of, if I'm somehow writing that into my website, I need to go look and see if it's giving that vibe out, because there are other things that would be more beneficial for my company, because people looking for personalized travel planning aren't suitcase designs ideal clients. So we're not speaking to the right person there and we're appearing in their search. So these tools really help that out for all of us. Just build it into like, quarterly review at the very least. Look at your search console, look at the keyword planner. Google's just got great tools out there for all of this and free. So you got to figure out how to prioritize your keywords. Obviously, they got to be relevant to your services. It should reflect what you actually offer, not just what's going to get the most searches. So you go into the keyword planner and you see something like, Hawaii has a ton of searches. You don't just want that. A keyword with 500 searches a month, but high conversion will beat someone with, like another keyword, like I said, Hawaii with 5, but no relevance to your business if you're selling Disneyland trips. Think seasonally as well. You can think like Alaska cruise is going to spike at a different time of the year than a Mediterranean cruise. Different seasons or events are going to really help that relevance cycle through. And you can look in the past and see what spiked and when it spiked. And you can think about, okay, maybe this is the time of year that I need to be promoting that, Alaska group trip that I've got going on next year. This is the time to really be hitting that, because people are going to be searching for it then. That's the kind of data you're going to find from those tools and the kind of data you want to have in your back pocket when you're deciding what keywords to use on your site. And speaking of using them on your site, where are we going to use them? So Google and readers alike both look at certain prime real estate in your content. So page titles. Each one of your pages can have a title. It's not just the home about blog. Underneath there's SEO titles. Headings. So not just your headline at the top of your page, but subheadings throughout. The H2s, the H3s, those should have your keywords in them as well. The opening of your copy, your first 100 words of the copy of the page, sprinkle a keyword or two in there. People are going to be looking at that. Google's going to be looking for that. Meta descriptions. So those are on the back of every page. There's a meta description to the page, and it tells Google what your page is about. It also gives a little description to return in search. Image alt text. So you don't want to forget this. Every one of your images, you can go into the media library of your website builder, and it's got a space for alt text. And you want to describe the image, and you can use keywords in there as well, because it's got to be descriptive, not only for accessibility, but the keywords also help Google understand what the image is for. And you could come up in image search. That's another way to come up for, maybe someone's searching Hawaii, travel to Hawaii, but they're searching through the images of Google. And you've got the Hawaii picture there with good alt text that's going to help come up and say, hey, this image is about travel to Hawaii. They click on it, takes them to your site. Your URLs can be, it doesn't always have to be your about page doesn't just have to be, suitcase design / about. You can make it whatever you want. You can make it suitcase designs / about dash travel agent website design. And basically what that's going to help is it's another way to help with SEO because it's got just those specific keywords still sprinkled about your site in another way that Google's going to be indexing and searching for. Your call to action buttons can benefit from smart keyword use. You could have something, like start planning Hawaii now. I really like Hawaii today, but those types of things throughout your site, you can't forget to put them in. Uh, you're wasting prime real estate if you don't put the alt text in for images. That's an easy one. That's just sitting right there for the taking. That's what likes Hawaii always. Excellent. I'm glad. And then, your headings, things like that, it's easy to get them sprinkled throughout. You just don't want to keyword stuff. Make it sound conversational. Try and make it in that client language because they're searching for those things. And if they see it on your site in their language, they're going to relate a lot. Now, something I always talk about a lot because we add blogs to all our websites is that blogging is the perfect place for the long tail keywords and educational content. So you want to make sure your topics match what your ideal clients are searching for. Using your blog to answer those questions not only gives you the expertise angle, but it's also going to help just return your website in their search results. Use keywords in a way that reads naturally. You're still using it. You don't want them to be stilted and robotic. Internal linking. So what that means is from your blog, say, hey, if you're ready to learn about this today, and link to your destinations page where you're talking in depth about Hawaii some more. Or if you want to learn more about, what our travel agency is built about, you link to your about page. But basically internal linking, it helps keep people on your site longer. And also you can link to other posts, which is really good because it will keep them going through different posts on the same topic and building your expertise and your in their eyes. But also if you update those older posts, that gives them a fresh SEO boost because Google likes things that have been updated. It likes things to be refreshed. It looks active. And Google says, okay, these people are making sure the data is relevant to today's searches. So every once in a while, like if you have a Disney blog, and we're still talking about FastPass or GD Plus, now we're on Lightning Lane Multipass as the main topic of line skipping. And your blog should be updated for those kind of things. If, I know that Disneyland just changed their magic hour, the early entry, the half hour early entry for hotel guests to now it's, they get a lightning lane during their stay. And, your blog should be updated to reflect that. So people aren't misled, but also so Google sees that you're updated, you're staying relevant, and they're going to keep returning you in search results because they're going to see your trustworthiness as a site go up. Keywords in your services pages. So these type of keywords you want to use that should speak directly to the people who are ready to take action. The transactional keywords, and you can make booking ridiculously easy for them. These are the people that, are searching things like we were talking about earlier. Jump back to that example. Book a Amalfi Coast cruise. So they're searching something that is ready to go. They aren't just looking for information about cruises. They're looking how to book one. They're ready to go. They want to book one. And if your services page is talking about how to book one, just in regular conversation, or in your call to action button, or you're speaking directly to those people, testimonials can also naturally include these keywords. People are already speaking to you in the language they speak, your client's language. So you want to be able to make sure you're including those in the testimonials and then pull those keywords out for other places. Our Disney cruise was incredible. It helps reinforce your relevance, but it doesn't sound like forced keyword stuffing. But what you're doing there on your services page, and I put testimonials on your homepage too, but here you're really looking at those people who are closer to booking because once they've gotten to that page, they're looking at the things that, how do I get this? What are you going to do for me? And more or less, you're looking at, I'm kind of lost for speech. You're looking at people who have higher intent and aren't just tire kickers at that point. So you want to track your performance, stop guessing, start measuring. You need to know which keywords are actually bringing in leads and sales and not just traffic. Google Search Console will show you rankings, impressions, clicks. I'm going to see if I can share mine real quickly. So I can see in here, My top queries, like I said, these are people who are navigational. They already know who we are, but suitcase designs and suitcase design, that's where people are coming from. In the last 3 months, that's where most of our clicks come from because we've gotten our name out there. We've got a lot of brand relevance and word of mouth just by our company name. We're working on our SEO and we're bringing up travel agent website design and these type of keywords. So we're getting more impressions, but we need to be pushing them to the top so they're getting more relevancy as well. You can look at Google Analytics as well and see what people do after they jump on your site. So you can see in the last 7 days, I'm down 4% of users, but I've got 16% up in event counts. So they're doing more on the site, but there's less people coming here. But the traffic isn't what matters. It's the intention of the traffic behind the people. Intention of the people behind the traffic. That's what matters because that's what's going to get people to convert. I don't just want lots of traffic on my site. I want the right people on my site because they're the people I'm trying to talk to. They're the people that matter as far as being potential clients that I could help, not tire kickers in that sense. They've got high intention navigating to look for me and looking how to get in contact with us. Google Analytics, like I said, will help track what people do after they get on your site. But, if a keyword drives visits, but no inquiries, it's not serving you. So like if I was like that planning travel keyword that was on there, for me, it was a personalized travel planning. I don't want to rank for that. Not on suitcase designs. I wouldn't mind ranking for that on Moonshot Travel, but on suitcase designs, that doesn't bring people that are wanting to work with me because I'm not relevant to what they're looking for. So, keep refining that. I'm going to make sure that's not something that's actually written on our website somewhere because we want to make sure that people aren't misled by us either. We want the right people with the right messages coming. So common mistakes to avoid. Like I just said, personalized travel planning, that's irrelevant traffic to me. It'll waste my time. It'll drag down engagement metrics. Google sees engagement metrics. Google sees all that information and processes that as part of your SEO factoring to see how high you rank in search results. Don't ignore mobile users. It matters most now because most searches happen there. People search differently on mobile. You just want to be there ready for them. So mobile design, basically design your website for mobile first and then back it up to getting a good looking desktop. Local SEO. So it can give you a competitive edge when you serve a specific area. And as travel advisors, I know we all want to serve, nationwide, but in reality, people are going to be searching for travel advisors close to them first. So you don't want to ignore local SEO. You want to make sure, you mention that you serve a specific area somewhere on your website. Well, I like to put it in the footer so it's on every page. We serve Colorado Springs for Moonshot Travel and beyond, but Colorado Springs is in there. And so you want to get that in your business profile when you get Google Business. Make sure it talks about that because people are trying to see you on that map. That's what you want to, that's where you really want to rank is get on the local SEO Google map. And don't forget speed and usability. So if your site is slow or clunky, best keywords aren't going to save you. People are going to leave your site after they get on there and they can't do anything well. But I want to jump back on the local SEO keywords. So your region. So like I'd be like Southern Colorado travel agent, city and region names, Southern Colorado, Colorado Springs, Colorado, tri-state area, things like that. Whatever local people call your region, what they'd be searching for. Think about it that way. Optimize your Google business profile and make sure it's up to date. It gives you a score, when you're going through your Google business profile, how complete it is. You make sure the content references local events or attractions, like especially if you're going to be at some kind of trade show, get that on there. Just be more visible in that way. It'll make you more visible to people who are nearby and who are ready to buy. So that's definitely important. Local is where you're going to build your business and then you can expand from there. That's really how it works. And so to put it all together, it's a simple, repeatable process. Keyword strategy is a cycle. You pick them, use them, see if they're working, and then you tweak. The more consistent you are, the better your results will be over time. It does take consistency. This isn't a thing that's going to happen in 1 month that you're going to see the highest results. You're going to see it every few months. I was saying that earlier, 3 to 6 months. You want to refresh the strategy every few months because it keeps up with changes in search behavior. You track it, you test it, you refine it. And the Google tools, they're really going to make it a lot easier for you. Like I said, they're free. Just want to make sure that you understand them. And that's about all I've got right now. We're coming up to the end of the half hour, but I'm going to open up for anybody. If anybody has any questions, you can drop them in the chat. Feel free. Whether it's about picking keywords or using tools or somehow to put it in your travel business, the goal here is for you to leave knowing what you should do next. But if something comes to mind later, if nobody's got anything right now, you can email us at hello@suitcasedesigns.com. You can book a consultation call with me at suitcasedesigns.com/contact. You can join our Facebook group at Travel Websites Pro. That Facebook group, we're happy to answer questions through there as well. If you don't want to take the time to get on a call, is that something you do as part of the subscription? The SEO, we do basic SEO to start as part of the subscription, but the actual ongoing keyword research, we have a separate subscription for that because it is much more labor intensive, and we do much more optimization on an ongoing basis that includes writing blog posts weekly for you based on your niche. So it's SEO optimized based on your niche. Will I have a PDF of the slides of this call available? I can certainly make them available. If you email me at hello@suitcasedesigns.com, I will send you the PDF slides back. All right. So, you follow us at Suitcase Designs on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, for more tips and inspiration. And you can have a free audit of your website too if you want to do suitcasedesigns.com contact for one-on-one call with me. But I hope this gave you some practical suggestions and helped everything feel a little bit more accessible and not such a mystery as far as keywords and SEO go. So thank you everybody for coming out. And like I said, hit me up if you have any questions. I am happy to help. You're welcome. Very welcome. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Gail. Thanks, Erica. Thanks, Becca. Thanks, Jessa. All right. You guys have a great day. You're welcome, Jonathan. All right. I'll see you later. Don't forget, we do this the third Thursday of every month with a different topic. So look for that on our Facebook page. We always put those events up. All right. Well, everybody have a great day. Thank you for coming out, and good luck with your keywords. Bye.